Greetings, kids and nerds, I'm Universe and I'm Nerdy. And I think it's about time that I actually do another top 10, wouldn't you say? This one is kind of a confusing list, only because of the namesake. This is the top 10, or my top 10, best contenders for favorite film of 2023, or best movie of 2023. I know that sounds confusing, but basically what this list is that these are films that almost hit my margin to being the best films for me. Because see, the way that I am is that there are films that do suck, I already talked about them, and there are films that are great, and that's one that were favorites. But there are some that are like hidden gems that people might say are like bad, and other people might go, yeah, but there's still something good about them, and that's why I have this list. So, not to sound like a broken record, here are the details about this list. First of all, just remember that this is just my list, and that this is just for fun, and these are just my opinions, so nobody needs to be insulted if a certain film that they liked this year or a certain film that I reviewed didn't make it on this list. Just like they shouldn't be insulted about the films that made it on the worst of list. It's just my opinions, and your opinions matter too. Number two, these are films that I have seen this year. So whether or not that these films came out decades ago, a few years ago, it still counts to be on this list. And lastly and for foremost, just remember again that this is just for fun. This is just my opinions and my own video, and I'm not trying to insult anybody or even the filmmakers of any films. That's the thing that a lot of people kind of forget to understand about some of us here on YouTube is that if we call a film bad or if we give our own opinions on a certain film, we're not trying to make fun of the filmmaker. It's just our honest opinions about how we feel about the film. And yes, there are some people out there who don't agree with me saying, like, I don't like a specific film. You're all entitled to your opinions, but what I like is what I like, and what you like is what you like. So, with that all out of the way, let's begin the countdown. This is the Way Universe Top 10 Favorite Films, or Best Contenders for Favorite Films of this year. Next week will be the big one, my Top 10 Favorite Films of the Year list. But let's start this one. So, here we are. Let's begin the countdown. This is the Read the Universe Top 10 Best Contenders for Favorite Film of 2023. Let's begin the countdown. Number 10. The Black Phone is a substantially great horror film. I really didn't like it, and despite my opinion with Scott Dickerson not directing the Doctor Strange sequel, this film was still pretty good. However, I did not see myself really enjoying this film for one good reason. There are so many questions that were left unanswered from this film specifically. Mostly and specifically, who is Ethan Hawke's character? Why is he going after children? What did he do with the kids? Did he just kidnap them to kill them, or did he do something worse? But without a doubt, Ethan Hawke was the best thing about this movie. He is terrifying in this killer performance, and I have never seen a killer I've been terrified more than him. But mostly, what is the mystery with the Black Phone, and how did it tie into the dead children that this killer has killed? Nothing is really ever established or explained. With most movies, everything eventually falls into place. You know why the characters are doing what they're doing, but with the Black Phone, there's just so much mystery and questions that I have answered that just were unanswered. And maybe, just maybe, if this film ever does get a sequel, hopefully it won't leave us asking a bunch of questions, and hopefully that it gives us some answers and sheds some lights on a lot of things. Oh no, I did really like The Black Phone. It was a decent horror movie for the most part, but I still wish that there was, a lot less mystery involved with the film. Number 9. Zombieland was a horror comedy movie that I really did enjoy, well, for the most part, except there was less of the comedy involved and more of horror. Now, the sequel was far more superior with balancing the horror and the comedy, but this one was trying to find its roots with trying to balance the horror and comedy quite well. But the original Zombieland isn't bad. Hell no, quite far from it. It's just not my favorite cup of tea when it comes to a horror comedy movie because the sequel did it so much better. However, if you're looking for a fun zombie movie, look no further than going to Zombieland USA because you're gonna have one hell of a zombie killing good time and a fun time as well too. Just make sure that you bring some good family or good friends for the long road trip ahead, okay? Because you're gonna need them to protect your back when the zombie apocalypse starts hitting you as soon as you watch the film. Number 8. Christine, a unique horror film by the amazing and legendary John Carpenter. Except for one thing that Christine doesn't do well. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell anybody that I'm a big fan of John Carpenter, but this film just doesn't feel like his masterpiece like a lot of people say that it is or a hidden gem in his library. Based off of a famous Stephen King novel, you would expect me to say that this film is good, but unlike some Stephen King novels, this one wasn't quite as good as I expected. The directing from John Carpenter is great, and I loved every single actor in it. They have done some of the best work that I have ever seen them do, but the film just didn't feel like up my alley. And for the most part, I couldn't take the movie about a possessed killer car quite seriously because, yeah, how can I take a possessed killer Hot Wheels seriously? If you like Christine and if you think the film is for you, more power to you. I just couldn't really fall in love with it because, yeah, I can't accept the concept of a possessed killer car. I'm sorry, guys. Number 7. The animated Addams Family movie, man, I had some high hope for this one, and it was pretty damn decent. Although, except the story could have been better. I like the idea behind it, though, the Addams family trying to fit in with everyday America. That idea I do like, but then it loses focus like halfway through the entire film. If the movie was more on par with, say, like, yeah, we're trying to teach our family how to be normal in everyday America, that'd be great, but it loses focus so quickly. I love the voice cast and they are all superb and stellar. The animation is great and beautiful, but the story really could have been forced more together and more complex. For what it's worth, the film really should have been about Wednesday Adam and her new best friend, but that's just me, and I was hoping that that's what the film would have been, but again, that's just me. For all things unique, creepy, ooky, and spooky, you should check out the Adam Family. It's worth checking out, but just beware that it might not be for everybody, just be forewarned. Number 6. Imagine our beloved Adam family taking a road trip across America. It sounds like a concept that is already perfect to begin with. For the most part, it almost was. This almost made it on my top 10 favorite films list and was the original Adam Family, but unfortunately, I didn't fall in love with the film quite so much. The animation, again, is once again beautiful. The voice cast is back, reprising their original roles, but the story really lost me towards the ending of the film. I enjoyed the road trip with the Adam family, and hell, I enjoyed that it was all about Wednesday Adam trying to find her real family. I enjoyed that too, but I didn't like this film. But the big dramatic reveal at the ending? Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but that big dramatic reveal at the ending of the villain and his true motive was really kind of fucking goofy for an Adam family movie. It is worth checking out if you are interested, but just be forewarned that you might not like it because this film might not be for everybody, but it was still a pretty decent film, and I agree if you watch it with children, you'll like it more. Number 5. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting patiently for Morbius to come out, and when it did, I was blown away by how damn decent that the film was beside the review. This film is a great man becomes monster category as Dr. Michael Morbius searches relentlessly for a cure to his disease, a cure to be normal. However, the cure to become normal turns him into a monster, a relentless monster, known only as Michael Morbius, the living vampire who nobody can stop or destroy. Jared Leto was great in the performing role as Michael Morbius. I really sympathized with him and I felt bad for him for constantly changing between the man he wanted to be and the monster inside of him. For me, this film was almost pitch fucking perfect. It was almost the greatest superhero film that I have seen. But one thing had ruined it. And I'm sorry to go for this guy because I'm a big fan of him at Doctor Who. Matt Smith is the man who destroyed this movie for me. Oh, you have heard me right. See, up throughout the film, I thought that Michael Morbius was going to be the main focus. And he was. Until his best friend had turned himself into a vampire similar to Michael. This movie didn't need a fucking villain. This movie was perfect as it was, and it is entirely intended to be perfect. But the moment when they revealed Matt Smith is a god-sucking vampire, I could no longer take this film seriously. Once they revealed Matt Smith as a vampire, I just threw my hands up and said, well, that's it, the movie's ruined. But Morbius is still a great movie for the man and monster category that exists around Jared Leto in the main role, which I did love for this entire film. Just, when a sequel is made, please no Matt Smith as a goofy vampire villain. I really could not take the guy seriously. Please don't repeat that anymore, please.
Number 4.
Ah man, Shin Godzilla. This movie I have been long waiting for, and when I finally got to see it, I was just very disappointed. This was a more grittier, down-to-earth remake of the original Godzilla film, which makes sense, and that's alright for me. But then something happened with this movie.
太古から生き延びた海洋生物が奇跡的に生きながらえていた生息地域に偶然大量の放射性廃棄物が海中投入され、その影響下で生き残るため、今のカスエラは DOE の情報を超えた状態で私にも説明がつかない。私の権限で知れる情報はここまで。ここからは自衛隊の総力戦を取ろうとかすとは予測計算を凌駕する自己防御力だ。外からの物理兵器で倒せるならば私たちも苦労しなくて済みます。
Yes! No one shut the fuck up throughout this entire movie. At all. There was always talking, and barely any Godzilla. Yes, I know, this is supposed to be a more down-to-earth reboot of the original Godzilla, more modern of a reboot. Yes, I know, but do the characters always have to fucking shut? Needless to say though, Godzilla is the hallmark of this movie. Every time he's on screen, he is a monster. He is a menace, and you know he's coming to kill you. Plus, this Godzilla design, compared to the original Godzilla design, this is frightening to imagine ever becoming real and ever wanting to take over Tokyo. Now, it is a shame to put it on just my best contenders list, because as a Godzilla fan, I should have been a fan of this immediately, but with all the fucking talking going on, and all of the goddamn characters that you had to pay attention to, yeah, I'm sorry, this film is probably better left off on the best contenders list, with hopefully that if a sequel gets made, it'll be better and less boring. Here's for the bet for the next Godzilla film that ever does get made, that hopefully it will not be like this film, and hopefully have more Godzilla and less people doing the talky nonsense.
Number 3.
Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania almost made it on my best films list because I really did like this film, but it moved really damn fast, according to me. This film moves really fast. Again, I sorry to nitpick about that or to sound like a broken record, but it really does, because 1 minute you're inside of the nice household inside of the Marvel Universe, next minute, bam, you're inside of the Marvel Quantumverse, and yeah, it just moves so goddamn fast for a film. This film wasn't even halfway through its own fucking runtime when all of a sudden it's like, yep, you know something? We're just gonna skip right ahead and go into the Quantumania. Sound good? Alright. This movie had some really star-studded acting, including Kane the Conqueror himself, who was just as sinister and just as iconic in the film, and God bless it. This film has a unique story and some of the most badass, awesome fight scenes I've ever seen in a Marvel film, but if it only moved at a slower pace, I probably would have liked it just a little bit more. But Mania is not a bad film. I actually really did enjoy it, and I really didn't like it, all things considering. I just wished it would have slowed down and told a better story. If there's ever an Ant-Man and Wasp Part 4, there probably won't be, but if there ever is, I really hope that they learn from their mistakes and hopefully tell a much more better fleshed out story like the original Ant-Man and Wasp.
Number 2.
I really wanted to like Shazam Fury of the Gods. I really did. I loved the first film, and in fact, it's still one of my favorite superhero films ever, but this wasn't. I love the villains of the movie, the daughter of Atlas. They are all badass in their own right, but only one of them, Lucy Liu, is the prime suspect and villain of the movie. Shazam is treated like a joke and an idiot. It was funny in the first film because he didn't know how to be a superhero, but now that he is, and he's acting like a bigger idiot than he did in the first film. I did really enjoy this film, though. I did. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was funny, and it had some great moments that specifically came in last, but by the time the good moments came for me, I was kind of bored with the movie. But that's not against the movie, that's against the screenwriter, or basically somebody had to be to blame, but I don't really blame the director for this issue. If and when a third movie is ever made, hopefully they'll learn from their mistakes and make the next Shazam movie as good as the first one and not treat him like a jackass or an idiot. Zachary Levi was great in the role, but seeing him return as an idiot before he became the hero that the world deserved, yeah, I'm sorry, it was kind of a letdown for me for the film and really to enjoy Zach Levi's astonishing performance. But the moment when he made that big sacrifice, oh dude, I had chills tingling down my spine because that was the moment where I was like, this is Shazam, baby, he's back. Needless to say, as Dr. Devana would say, I cannot wait to see the big red cheese in his third movie, but hopefully he won't be a big red boob like he is in this film.
And my number 1 best contender for favorite movie of 2023 is...
Tell me what you
The original Escape Room was a bad horror movie, but the sequel? Dear God, it almost made it onto my best movies list because I really enjoyed the sequel. The two survivors of the original film are back, and this time they're going after the escape room makers to try and figure out who the hell is Midas and why they are trapping people like they have been. But the reason why I love this film, the characters are all fantastic in this movie. I loved every single character that came off this film. Except the one thing why this movie didn't make it on my favorite films list is because of one very good reason. The escape rooms in this movie all fucking suck. Escape rooms are supposed to be unique, hard to figure out, advanced, and every single escape room in the original was great. In the sequel, they bore me. Now don't get me wrong, the story is great and I love how the characters are all written out, which is fan-fucking-tastic for a movie like this, but oh my god, did I find myself bored with these escape rooms. These escape rooms all bore me, and hopefully that if there is an escape room trilogy, they'll make the escape rooms look better than they have in this film because it really bored me. However, if you do want to watch an escape room film, please watch the sequel. It's a lot better than the original. You'll thank me later because I love the characters and how great they're written in this one. And there you have it, my friends, my top 10 best contenders for favorite films, which I hope that you enjoyed. Please tell me what your favorite film or best contender for your favorite film is in the comments down below. Not favorites yet. Save those. Shh. Save those. Keep them in secret for me. Keep them in secret, because I love reading your guys' comments as well. Next time, however, on Monday, we're going to be flying through the air with All of the Other Reindeer, which is a beloved children's classic and one of my favorite Christmas films, or little cartoon specials. But next week, the top 10 finale is upon us. So come back next Friday for my top 10 favorite films of 2023. Because it's going to be quite a countdown for everybody to enjoy. So please, after All of the Other Reindeer, please join me for the top 10 favorite films I've seen this year.